this is Pam with Age Old Reboot. One of my tasks for the weekend is to sort through all the paper files I have because I hate paper, and I've been sorting them out over the years. I'm down to a few, but it's a few too many because I still lose things. That's what's on the docket. So it would sounded much more fun to record a video than to start trashing the paper files. So as I do go through things, though, I found a lot of writings and pieces that I saved many years ago in my early 20s, right on through till last week, pretty much. And now they're online, obviously saved. But here's one that was handwritten by me, copied out of the book Shoes of the Fisherman by Morris L. West. It was very important to me back when I copied this down. I would have been somewhere between 22 and 24 years old. And now I'm 78, so it's a long time ago. And it's interesting for me to reflect on how important this was to me then. It's just as important to me now. And it's something that in many ways I think I did embrace as I lived my life. I wasn't a huge risk taker, especially about physical risks. I avoided conflict as much as I could. But I did run head on into so many other things. Anyway, here's what Morris had to say. It costs so much to be a full human being that there are very few who have the enlightenment or the courage to pay the price. One has to abandon altogether the search for security and reach out to the risk of living with both arms. One has to embrace the world like a lover. One has to accept pain as a condition of existence. One has to court doubt and darkness as the cost of knowing. One needs a will stubborn in conflict, but apt always to total acceptance of every consequence of living and dying. That's how I've lived my life, I think, for the most part. I think that doing the channel now, it gives me so much. And it's a way to really explore this transition period where you're moving from living to dying. And obviously I'm advocating living to the fullest. And I think that living to the fullest comes from looking back and making some assessments of where you've been and what are the most important events in your life, what has shaped you the most. A couple of years ago, I came upon something. It was an online thing, and one of the tasks was to look back on my life and try to give voice to 3 major turning points in my life at different ages. First of all, you're supposed to think about the age you're at now and the age you think you'll live till. There, I said 96, so I thought I would die in the year 2041. That's a long time from now, but I'm going to hold on to that. So that would be 96, I think. Then you were asked to focus on life events that really had a huge impact on you. The first one happened when I was just graduating from high school or maybe the first year of college. I volunteered at a community center, which was one of the original settlement houses here in North Minneapolis. I would drive in from the burbs to volunteer. I remember with the director of the center, and she was talking to me about what I was doing and why I was doing it. She did talk about the fact that if you're really going to be offering something to the community, you need to be part of the community. And so, I would volunteer twice a week, and then I came one night a week to be part of the community, and I was part of their play reading group. But even more significant than the play reading group was the concept that to truly be of service, you have to be part of, and how important being a part of, a partner with, how important that was. And that's really given purpose and focus to my work. So that was at 17 to 19, somewhere in there. Now, the second one was when I was 36 and I adopted my son. And it was those early years with him when what was awakened in me was something I had never known, and that was unconditional love. And that's what I learned, the unconditional love. And the opportunity to present to another person and help them to see the world and its expansiveness. Their options open to them. I was just thinking yesterday that the two people that are most like me in the world, one of them is my son, and the other is my granddaughter. Luckily, I think for my granddaughter, well, I was going to say she got the good parts and didn't get the bad parts. She probably got a jumble of it, just like my son did. It's so amazing to have these two people out there in the world who you totally get who you are because you are part of them. And then the third event is a very personal one, and I'll try to do it justice without being risque. And that would have happened in the more recent part of my life. A switch was flipped in terms of my feelings about my physical body and physical intimacy. And what I learned was that pleasure is not something you need to earn, and it can be even better when you're older, when you don't have the burdens that are placed on you as a younger person. So I guess it was a celebration of sensuality and sexuality, and I have it down as age 76. So there you go. So I'm not sure what the purpose of this video is, but I would hope that you might think about life events that have shaped who you are today. And as you note those and what they've taught you, that's another piece of learning about who you are today, who I am today, and whether or not we are one with a will stubborn in conflict, but apt always to total acceptance of every consequence and joy and privilege. That's my own little edit there of living and dying. See you soon.